everybody. Russell Miami's 11. Hope you're all safe and well. News channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you may know every time I put new content on. As always, I'd like to thank our live channel sponsors. There they are, Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. So, not much has happened in it recently. I can't think much. A bit disappointing, the 3-2 defeat to Newcastle on Saturday. And that was it. We don't know who H is yet on the line of duty. I've asked Alexa, she doesn't know. But anyway, I hope everyone is safe and well. So, I thought we'll do a special chat about everything. You know, there's loads. I mean, there's loads of stuff all over the place. Loads of stuff on Twitter, on everything about the European Super League. I'm sure everyone knows about it now. I'm sure everyone is up to date. But you know, I just thought we'll do a bit of proper work really. So as you know, we got obviously the European Super League. As you know, was announced yesterday, or the letter of intention was given yesterday by all the. Bit quiet at news front. You're right, is man. And obviously because of that, you've got and I've even done a slide. Look, so midweek fixtures league, 20 participating clubs. The thing that worried me actually is there's 12 clubs have been found. 12 of the 15 founding clubs have been officially confirmed. There is talk of Porto, there is talk potentially of Bayern Munich coming in as well, but who knows. The proposed start is to start at the beginning of August, so ain't got long, and a corresponding women's league to be launched as well. It's quite interesting when you start delving into it really, because there's lots of really interesting moving parts. Obviously, you know, the big new, you know, the idea was it was funded by a big JP Morgan, a huge what's that? Your sound has off, Russ. What is my sound all right? I'm a bit slow. Yeah, I think my internet's a bit slow today, so I must apologise. So obviously JP Morgan are the financial backers by all accounts, and also what was quite interesting was about in terms of, which I thought was interesting, in terms of broadcasters, because clearly, you know, BT Sports, Sky have had quite a big sort of blanket damnation of it. Obviously Gary Neville's point, like his very passionate rant, obviously Rio did one on BT Sport the other day as well. I mean the belief was it was Dazen were the sort of the broadcasters behind it, and that was reported I think yesterday in Corriere dello Sport or something in the Italian newspapers, that they were sort of the going to be the broadcasters, but they've come out yesterday. I'm not too sure when they came out actually and said it, but basically they've said we're not doing anything. This is nothing to do with us. We don't know what we're doing. So clearly there's a disconnect really there. So whether they were behind it and now they're pulling out, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about Amazon or Disney, because obviously they've been doing the Prime stuff, but it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? It's a bit of a mess. And you know, as Rob says, Jose's been sacked as well. Was sacked this morning by all accounts because of from what we gather, there may have been some bust up on the training ground. He refused to let his players train or something like that. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel is we're currently fourth. We're still fourth. We could be, by the end of the day, or by the time we play Chelsea, if we play Chelsea, who knows? We could be sixth, or as West Ham online says, we could be sixth, or we could be winning the league. Who knows? As Luke says, it's the Houston Hotspurs versus the Arizona Arsenals tonight, live on Amazon, followed by the Chicago Chelseas versus the Boston Barces. It is basically, I mean, you know, looking at not the main protagonists, but looking at the people who are involved in the whole thing, the majority are American, which is obviously a franchise-based sports. You know, obviously the NFL, for example, there's no relegations, there's no promotions. It is what it is, and everyone has the same amount of money, kind of. And obviously, you can get TV deals and stuff like that. But it is seeming like they're trying to franchise it all. That's to me what it looks like. It looks like they're producing a European football franchise, and it's no surprising that the main people behind it, JP Morgan, US Bank, if it was DAZN, although if they're not in their fair play, you know, they pulled out, whatever. But you know, you've got the Henrys, you've got the Glaziers, you've got guys who are big American guys. You've got what's his face in Arsenal as well. So, there's these composite parts where it all sort of adds up. Anyway, let's see what we got in the chat, and we'll have a good old chat. Good old chinwag about it. Rick, hope you're my friend. Carl, hope you're well. Liam, good afternoon. Results based or not? I don't think, in my opinion, I do not know. Your sound's off. It might just be just because the internet, sometimes doesn't crack up, but doesn't matter. So if it is, everyone check out Forge Light. We'll be talking about the disaster around 8 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, by the time Forge Mayans and all the others, this story would have developed even further, wouldn't it? So, I feel really, obviously, I've interviewed a lot of fans outside of West Ham, so I'm thinking about Man City, Liverpool, all these guys I feel really sorry for because, everything on Twitter, everything on Facebook, I've only seen maybe 2 people who have a positive view of it. Ironically, one is an Arsenal fan. And I get that, and I understand that because it is going to be, considering where they were, But the other one was a few professional guys have come out. There hasn't been a widespread. Obviously, all the retired guys have come out and said. I think Herrera came out today and said something. That's probably the most high-profile Premier League guy that's been on there. Yeah, my sound is on, Gary. So maybe you're on mute. Yeah, It's just Gary. Just Gary's got it on mute. Or your headphones. Try your headphones, mate. Anyway, what we got here? Oh, God, loads of comments. Right, I'm going to try and get through as many as we can. DAZN. Thank you. I'm convinced Amazon will be involved too. Possibly. It's all set up with the backing from the 12 backers. Munich and Paris will. I think they will. I think they will be joining. I think Porto are looking at joining as well. But it's just a sad day, isn't it? I mean, it's a touch for us in a weird way. If everything goes tits up, then we could end up. I think we're 9 points clear at the top of the league with a game in hand. For me, I just think there's a real. This is one of those. I mean, it's like when the Premier League started. And rugby league when obviously the Super League started, and this is going to be one of those seismic changes. I really, really think it's fascinating. I find the whole thing fascinating. Obviously, you think looking at players, would they want to play in this Super League, which means they can't represent the country, which is what happens, and it happens already. So if players go to France, that English players go to France in rugby union, they don't play. When obviously the French league, they pump loads of money into the French rugby union league, there was a number that went over there, and good players who would have probably played for England didn't play for England. The same thing happens with the Welsh rugby as well. If they, I think there's a guy, I can't remember his name, but he's gone back to New Zealand because he's not playing in the domestic leagues in England, in the UK, then he's not in the pick for the thing. But it's interesting. The Deluxe Dog, yeah, as someone says, it's a whitewash at Tottenham today. So there we go. Fingers crossed, another ITV Digital, and they all fall on their arse. Yeah, I mean, football is dead. I don't think football's dead, James. I think football's going to change. And actually, to be honest, if it means that that there's a stick in the ground, that right, this is enough now, this is ridiculous now, we need to make things a lot more fairer. I think Gon said it today, a bit similar to the way F1 has happened. F1 was always, the top teams get the most money and and then recently they've sort of reduced it so everyone is on a level playing field, and it is the best managers. The cars are relatively similar. It's all about technology and how much money you develop, and I don't see that being a bad thing for the game. Sure, the money will be a lot less. It will be. Those guys are the biggest draws. They are, despite the fact we're in the top 4. And Arsenal. If Tottenham are in a team, at the moment traditionally they have a wider base. They just do, in my opinion. But that could change. It could change. Once a team starts performing. I mean, look at Leicester. Leicester now, but still they're not considered to be in the top 6. I just find it redone. I can chuck them all out of the Prem and let them come back. They can't have their cake and eat it, or why that teams like us to compete. I mean, that is something which you look at and you're thinking that is a really interesting point. I had a point on Twitter, I think, and Facebook saying, it's almost like Like, you've been playing a game and you're like 5-0 up, and the boy whose ball it is has just picked up and walked off and said, "No, we want to play on our own now." That's how it works. I clearly, by the fact that this Tottenham thing's happened with Mourinho, that is not a coincidence, in my opinion. That's too close to a coincidence. The fact that Man United and Man City both published their letter of intention on their website and didn't tweet it. That to me speaks volumes. That's sneaky. Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, they all came out and said we're supporting it and we're going to be moving, but they didn't. And to me, again, that is a strain. That they know what they're doing. Part of me thought it was a power play because of the new Champions League format coming through to make sure they get that. Because even if you look at the new Champions League format that's coming through, that's been agreed. I think it's been agreed now. 32 teams, but also there's spots for elite clubs that don't qualify. That is sort of what this is doing. That's what I don't understand. If it was the great thing about the Champions League is everyone has to qualify. If you've won, if you've lost, if you've won the title, if you've won the championship, if you've won the European title, the Europa League title, if you've got in the top 4, the Champions League is probably the wrong way to describe it. It should be the Super League. That's what it should be called, really, because it is. It's the top teams, not necessarily the champions. And so I know there's criticism about the Champions League. It adds too many teams in, but that is getting all the best teams in Europe. You can. Do you know, as I said on Twitter today, my head feels a bit in a daze because it's like you see all these things and then Mourinho getting fired and, it's amazing. And then another XFL, but it's different, isn't it? It's not a new team. It's taking teams out and it's not creating a new team. You're not creating Hotspurs United, or North London United or whatever. It's taking ones out of one domestic league and putting them into a completely different one. It's bizarre. Should we play Chelsea? Who knows, man? Who knows? I mean, obviously, I'm always a man, carry on regardless until it's being told. So we'll say Tom wants to get rid of him. The way they're playing, they're playing all over Asia and America. They will be. Because I mean, for the normal fan, I think, you've got six UK teams, 6 English teams. I mean, why isn't, it just seems a bit ridiculous to me that there's the proportion, it seems all wrong. It seems to me, the fact that it's the top 6, to me, they see, although there's a talk of the Juventus guys being the main guys behind it, it's not. I don't think it is. But anyway, tell them they can't have the Moyes. They can't have the Moyes, and our players going to want to play for these teams because yes, the money, you're going to see the more, not money grabber, that's the wrong word, but the guys who see football as a profession rather than necessarily a passion, if that makes sense. They'll be wanting to play for them, but not necessarily. I'd say would you want to not play for your country? That's when you're young. That's what you want to do. You want to score the winner in the World Cup and stuff like that. Claret Newham, arrogance and greed all over. Yet Big Six. Yet yes, less history than Everton, Villa, and Spurs. Yes, there's not these mercenaries. Spencer says kick him out. I've done a great piece on Hammer's polls. Not to plug him, but he's done a great. Had a lot of fans who wanted who weren't West Ham fans. Good shout. The bloke funding Everton must be pleased with the news. If you we've got afternoon Simon on the golf course today. Who knows? Phil, hope you're well. Even if they scrap the Europa League, they cannot get away with this. Hello, Russ. Hi, David. By the way, you're right. They can't get away with it, in my opinion. In other news, I have had a haircut. Just to add fuel to the fire, and we still don't know who H is. This has been coming a long time. Started by Sky. I mean, it's one of those things where, the Premier League has benefited football, in my opinion. Increased revenue, clubs, that type of thing. But I think now this is, and it's not sour grapes. It's not sour grapes. I think some fans, to be honest though, I haven't seen many fans across the board who have been pro this Super League. So if that's the case, you can see they're not doing. It's clear they're not doing it for the fans. The guys have to travel. You can travel. You can do your homes and aways at your Spurs and Arsenals and Liverpools and Chelseas and Cities and Uniteds, and then you're not going to go to Barcelona. You're not going to Madrid. You're going to be playing Barcelona, Atletico, and Real Madrid. In the space of a few weeks, you're not going to do 6 flights there and back. I've done the maths. This is one of the biggest days in sport in history. Makes me want to be a sports journalist, even which I'm. Well, there we go. You're just a little bit, maybe a year or so down the line, too far there. Thoughts? What we got? Oh God, look, so many comments. I'm really sorry if I missed everyone. I'm just trying to get through as many as I can. Thoughts and prayers. Indeed, yeah, the Cape Town fires. Exactly, horrible things happen at the moment. Was really good. Anyway, sound is fine. Thank you. 123. I don't know what it is, but thank you. Sad day for football. Oi, oi, Rusty boy. We're actually talking about football today. This is ridiculous. Potato, indeed. Thank you. Good point. Great point. Spurs think they're too big for the Premier League. I agree, man. I think they are. Alexa play ABBA money. Ask Alexa. I was so sad. Ask Alexa who H is. Honestly, it's brilliant. So funny. Afternoon, Russ on the course. So over through 4 best starts of the day. Still fourth. We're still fourth. Exactly. Even whatever happens at the moment, despite of we're still fourth. Good shout. We got the Premier League. Can't lose their bottle here. Kick them out. There's nothing's come out yet, is it? Nothing's come out yet, so yeah, the top 6K. I know I made a mistake. Top 6. I mean, thing is, rugby isn't the world sport. Rugby has nowhere near the level of investment. Yep, driven by greed. You're right. It's changed the face of football, but it will continue and grow without the big 15 clubs. Rumour has it Klopp has told Liverpool if they join, he is off. Well, he's got a job. Then it's Bayern Munich. But if Bayern Munich aren't in it, if they are in it, then their boss wants to leave, innit? So their boss will be at Tottenham probably because he's happy to be it. But yeah, it's mental, isn't it? And it's a bit like, it reminds me. It's very reminiscent. Again, totally different polar parts. But when Corona started, and not started, but when there was more and more, and all the other leagues all the other sports were stopping. The Premier League only started, and it only stopped when Arteta got it in it, and I think with Jose going it, that's literally going on. Shit, crap. Anyway, crazy times, but it's exciting, isn't it? It is exciting. I mean, it's incredible because I don't know what will happen. This is going to be a time where you're going to remember this for a long time. So it's great that so many people are coming on and making their opinion. This is awful for the proper fan who's going to every game. Just shows what chasm. Yeah, chasm between fans and years. Not been a proper competition for years. So maybe chucking them 6 out. Do your own thing, man. Off you go. Good luck to you guys. And let's get these guys. Let's get Barnsley in. Let's get Sheffield Wednesday in. Let's get Nottingham Forest in. Let's get these proper teams in and bring football back to where it was. Innit? We're a level playing field. Good season. Bournemouth could have a good season and be top of the league. Or Sheffield United could have a good season and be top of the league. All the fans back together. I think there's something to be said about that. There really is. The Arsenal team who scraped a draw versus Fulham in the Super League. The word super must have changed indeed. Our London derby's going to be Palace and Fulham. Yeah, well, it's what it is, mate. At least Ben Rama can play. He won't be playing for the top clubs. Pete just says, wow. And Pete was at the game yesterday. What do you think, man? What do you think, buddy? What a 24 hours indeed. Asking Spurs to join the Super League is like asking Banana Man to join the Avengers. Very good. Yep, apparently so. He walked out. No relegation. What a joke. Well, it's following along the US model, isn't it? It's following along the UK model. 4 Nails, the hard-working microwave operator. Indeed. Mama Cox, hope you're well. I didn't go back to school today. I would have missed all this madness. Indeed, Jake must be literally like on the phone all the time. Well, we got. I'm so glad we're not part of all this. It's a disgrace. Hi, Russ. Hi, Kieran. No, I totally agree, man. I tell you, it's nice looking in the tent. Pissing out rather than it's usually for us. We're in the tent. We're outside the tent being pissed. No, you know what I mean. Well, I understand 3 clubs in London, so 2 will move. Yeah, exactly. One will go to Milton Keynes or whatever. Andy, hope you're well. You recovered? Hangover? Hi, Simon. I'm not sure what the Premier League will do. I don't think we know what we'll do, mate. I don't think anyone knows what's going on at the moment. These club owners just don't care about the fans. I agree. Would Rice go to Man U, Chelsea? He can only win one cup and not play the World Cup, win the Champions League or the Premier League. Exactly. Now Jose's got some time, and he can start painting the Spurs trophy room. Indeed. Oh, right, let's go for some more comments. I even bought some crisps. I even bought some crisps. I don't think I'm going to have time to talk about crisps today. Woke up late, love the haircut, my G. Yeah, Mrs. Budden did a good job for it this time. Super League winners 2020. Just the rich get richer. This isn't a competition, it's a football manager that we're going to win. Come on, you Blues. Fair play, mate. It's great that all the fans, a big sort of chunk of fans channels from those 6 clubs have come out and said, and we'll welcome you with open arms, my friends. We'll welcome you. My Hammers 11 will welcome anyone, obviously. We'll doubtlessly give in to them. The big clubs will use to get better deals for them both. I still think it's a big power play. I've got it's a big power play for this Champions League format. Getting more of those. I mean, they've got, is it 2 spots? Yeah, new spots for, I think it's 2 or is it 4 spots for elite clubs that don't qualify. I think that's ridiculous. That's gone under the radar, the fact that that's all changed now. So, yes. Oh, God, the bakery's closed for Simon. So it's a homemade sourdough ham sandwich with crisps and chocolate. Very nice. When I was growing up, provincial clubs, Forest, Derby, Ipswich. Yeah. And I think, if anything, it will benefit, it will benefit. It'll benefit the English game as well. It'll benefit the national team as well. Maybe not in the short term. A team like Germany will probably smash it, or France, because if they're all their players will still be playing for them. But, for someone like, you're looking at how, we moan about the foreign, or not foreign investment, but foreign players coming to the game and stuff like that. I mean, the thing is, the Premier League will be an attractive league for anyone to come to because, at the end of the day, it means they can play in international football. And as a kid, doesn't matter how much money you earn. I mean, these guys earn hundreds of thousands of hundred millions of pounds every year. Putting on your national shirt and playing for your club is your country rather is the pinnacle of your football career. And so you're having that taken away. It's one of those things where I'd love to see some more players come out. They won't, but I'd love to see some more players come out. I know the Aston Villa chairman came out, not came out, but he's put out a statement. And I imagine Brighton chairman usually comes up quite quickly with these types of things. So it's it will damage the Premier League in terms of money in the game, because it will do. But that being said, if it means that teams, we can get, a competitive league again, but it's not about the top 6. Where, like, for example, us getting into the top 4, it's a different opinion, isn't it? It's like, wow, look, this is I think, please check out Martin Samuel's article. It's a fantastic article about it, but it's like, our place in the sun this season, Leicester, sort of those, it could be such an exciting league. It's like, that's why everyone loves the Championship so much. It's such an exciting league. The Premier League is not an exciting league at the moment. It is occasionally when we pop up there or whatever, but you know what I mean. We are humongous. Yep. Just get dot points and we'll see Mark and Declan lift the Barclays. It's not called Barclays. It is a Barclays. Rumour has it that some American still can't understand why the system has relegation. No, I understand that, yep. Surely this must be a player that wouldn't have a backlash within their own teams. Well, Mourinho. Innit, Mourinho, man. It's just mental. PR management more than anything else. I would hope the FA does the talking for all the other clubs. No, I agree. 7 p.m. Gary Neville and Carragher in the studio, and that's what I mean. The fact that Sky and BT have gone really big in it. Obviously they're trying to protect their investment as well. They spent a lot of money on the Premier League, and so they need to come out and do it. So although it's great they're doing it, there is obviously always an agenda, in my opinion. It's not jealousy in my part. If our club I'm the same, and I think the fact is, because you have so many people have come out and said it. So many people have, fans groups from City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, so many people have come out. It's not out of jealousy at all. I just don't think it's good for the game at all. We got 4 Nows has come out on Twitter. Oh, cool. I'll have a look at that in a minute. All the big players want to play in the ECL. It's all about the money. We'll see. My friends. Isn't going to overshadow West Ham's fantastic season. This indeed. Points deduction puts us second. If they chuck them out, it's the same. The precedent's set is it goes to a 3-0 victory. So by that, we end up being, I believe, 9. I believe we're 9 points. 9 points ahead of Leicester with a game in hand, based on taking those scores away. Because obviously we have such a good record against the bottom teams, bottom half of the seat of the table. So And obviously that's great. So we'll see, man. It's, Clips is in. Honestly, mate, this should be gold for you. You are absolutely gold. 2020, West Ham, Man United versus Juventus. 2023, West Ham, 24. And, but I mean, to be honest, they play each other all the time. But I know what you mean. I don't know, Tom. It's going to be the same. Spurs v West Ham this season proves it. Yeah, exactly. It'd be the same thing every year. Whereas now, for me, it could be a fantastically exciting time. No time for crisps. This must be. Actually, we've always got time for crisps. Can I join the stream? Pete, of course you can, Pete. If anyone fancies it, I'm not going to be on for too long because I know Anton will be on at 15:15. But Pete, if you want to come in, because I'd love to get an Arsenal fan's perspective on it, mate. So apologies if anyone tries. I'd like to get Pete on because I just think as a Arsenal fan and obviously quite a prominent Arsenal person, I'd love to get him on and get his opinions. Boring. Obviously that's on there for various others. It's become a branding, not a club. This has brought all the it has fans reunited. I want to start it. Fans reunited. I think that's what we'll do, man. Right, I'm going to bring on Pete because I'd like to chat to Pete. There he is.
Hey everyone, how you doing?
Hey,
right?
How you doing? Oh, I'll tell you what, Imola was quite a good Grand Prix, wasn't it?
Yeah. I tell you what, when I said what a 24-hour, I meant F1, Tottenham, Super League, the lot. Like it's just been absolute carnage. So I'm still trying to get some.
It's mental, isn't it?
It is mental. I mean, not to keep you on long because of course we've
right.
got other people coming on as well. But you know what? I'm in two minds, Russ. I don't know what to think because, when you think about it, everybody is, this is like a morally wrong decision, what's going on, right? And that's fair enough. I think the issue you do paint, though, is what happened when the Premier League began.
Yeah, true.
When they made that exclusive. The minute you let owners own a football club in sport, you're always going to have this problem. The top 6, 4 of them are American-owned. So, of course, they want to have that kind of version. Big up, Simon. And so it's just little things like that where you think, okay, there's so much to unravel with this story because will we just get over it later on and then just basically continue and forget about this because the Premier League was one big story back in '92.
Yeah.
We and I get it. It's still competition. Teams get relegated, teams come up. So I totally understand that point. I think that they're trying to make it a 15 secure teams, and then 5 come up, 5 go down. So it's all of that sort of problem going on. The problem is it's choosing what kind of morality you want to lean on, really, more than anything else. The main problem in the first place was allowing a football club to be owned. That was a big mistake anyway. And I'm speaking as a fan who's owned by, who's got a club that's been owned. And so I'm coming from that place of the minute the day you lost that battle was when it came to allowing clubs to just buy it. Because now they can run it as a business. They can always, and bear in mind as well, it doesn't change. The plan is not to change Premier League football. This is just to replace the Champions League format. But of course, Premier League have come out and said, well, if you do this, we're going to kick you out. I mean, that won't happen. If the clubs stick to their guns, let's say the top 12 stick to their guns, it's going to happen. Unfortunately, it's going to happen. And the Premier League, if anything, will turn around and probably start to work side by side because I think the fixtures are supposed to be midweek only, as far as I'm aware. So it won't take away the weekend games. Premier League will still run as normal as well as the other leagues. I mean, in this pandemic, we saw teams in League 2. National League almost going to their knees, and the Premier League didn't fund them. So it's not about protecting those lower leagues either, because the Premier League did nothing for those guys. So it's unbelievable, this story.
It is, and David's made a good point. It's about the timing, isn't it? As well, it's just, and also you think about the timing. For me, I'm thinking I mean, the fact, someone put on Twitter, like, as soon as it started, West Ham creep into the top 4 and we break up Europe. And that, it's not saying that's the case, but, it just seems like it's a bit weird. I mean, I know people were talking about it in, there was talk about, JP Morgan sort of came to an agreement in October, I think it was originally. But it's just weird how it's just happened like now, just as, it's just very strange. The timing's very strange. I don't get it.
do you not think the timing though is because UEFA are trying to push the 36 Champions League?
Yeah, yeah. But then to be honest, part of that I'm thinking, you look at it and you go, actually, there's more for me. There's more appeal of that new. I mean, I don't agree with it. The thing is, it's a bit like the new format, the Champions League, because I mean, you've got those extra spots for elite clubs who didn't qualify. Well, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
I mean, the Champions League has been a farcical competition in some ways because you could finish second, third in La Liga, England, Germany, and automatically go through to the group stage. But if you win the Scottish Premiership, if you win the Eredivisie in Holland, if you win in Czech Republic, you have to qualify to get into that competition, which, it's bizarre. But again, like I said, you're choosing which, we're sort of picking and choosing what we find morally wrong. But at the same time, I think over time we will get over it. Just like we were angered about the Premier League, we were angered how the EFL, the Championship rebranded itself, So it's different things where I think today everybody's red hot on it. But then, Wenger predicted this back in 2009. So, Mr. Wenger obviously knew what was coming along. But I think he was speaking against ownership in football anyway. So
yeah, okay, yeah, I get that.
It's such a but the question is, do you have a problem with the NBA? Do you have a problem with the NFL and Formula One, for example?
No, exactly. No, I mean that's totally right. I mean the fact is, it is there are sports out there. I think it's because footballers. The league system of football has always been. I mean, to be honest, again, it's even. I mean, look at the MLS. There's no relegation or promotion in the MLS. They have to get accepted from from the previous. So
nobody's thinking about that either.
No, exactly. And I've made it. So that's a good point made by me. But no, it's one of those things where it is clearly about the money involved. I mean, there's James had put in the private chat that it's like. £3 billion, and it's. I mean, as Duo said, it's basically pure money ball. It's the elite clubs wanting one thing, money, and it is. It's just I just find it. I can see. It was. I think it's the way. I still think it's a power play by them to try and meet halfway with this Champions League thing. I don't think, and the fact is they put August in there and shit like that. So it's like okay, we're going to start it in a few months' time. So you got to come up to something good. Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen eventually. There's going to be some sort of similar system. I don't really agree with the name the Champions League, as you said. Like the teams that tend to get to the final are the third or fourth places. Not necessarily the champions. So it is a super league in that respect. But I just think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating. And it's fascinating what's going to happen in terms of okay, you play in this league, right? You're not playing in the Euros, and you're not going to do this, and you're not going to do that. It's like fucking hell, really?
You're spot on. It is a power play for sure. It's saying, well, okay, we're just going to up sticks and leave, and the Premier League are going to say, well, hang on a minute, we can't not let these lot go. Like we make our money based on the
exactly. But they know that, and I know that.
We know that, and so. I think you're right. I think if the European Super League does not happen, you're going to see a completely different Champions League and far more money getting thrown there. Because I think, what was it, 3.4 billion a season, right? So, and it's astonishing how it's just astonishing. Like the minute somebody, look who the chairman is, look who the vice chairman is.
Exactly.
Like, it's incredible that they can just say, you know what, we're going to create our own and just have it, and I think UEFA have made I don't think they'll stick to their guns, UEFA and Premier League and so on. If they turn around and start threatening about docking points and whatever else, they might do it. Don't get me wrong, but I think long term, when the emotions die down, I think they'll say, look, let's cooperate with this. The big mistake they let in the first place was owners to buy football clubs. That was the big mistake.
Yeah.
And so from there, Jose Mourinho's sort of, Jose Mourinho's sacking is very, 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 very weird at this time as well. I heard what you were saying there. You're sort of, trying to sort of piece it together. And
it's been alluded to. That's what happened. But
there's clubs like Arsenal and say Tottenham, teams that haven't won big trophies in a while. I think they are more scared of being left behind. I think it's a case of if we didn't join, then guess what? If you're going to have Barca, Real, Juve and Man United and so on, I think it was a case of, well, we might as well jump on the ship. You know what I mean? So it's going to be one of those, I think, half of those teams probably that are in that are scared of being left behind.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
true,
that's probably
I think it's true. I mean, when it all came out, obviously, because because you were at the game yesterday as well, so well done getting that point to qualify you for the Super League. But but it must have been. I mean, the thing is, the fact that it's coordinated. It's been a coordinated approach, obviously, because everything came up on it. And I don't like. Obviously, I'm not going to get too into it because I know you still same as me. I wouldn't ask those questions. But it's like it just seems as a fan, it was like. We've had obviously a lot of the fans' TV stuff of various other clubs have come out and said, no, we don't like it. I've seen a couple who have been up for it. And I understand that because it means they're as a club, you're going to be playing, when they think of themselves on their own, I try and do it a little bit balanced. That it doesn't mean that, you're going to be, as a, and, I'm not saying it at all, but, but if you was a particular club and you're playing Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, first year, it's exciting. But I think then next year, you're playing the same teams, isn't it? It's going to get boring. And there is that five team in there, but
I can't remember who put it in the chat there, but they were like, Man United versus Juve.
Yeah.
2023, 24. You're right. It will get boring at the end. And I'm totally with you. Wouldn't you like to play Real Madrid every season or play, every other week or whatever else? I totally understand that. I just think, it's one of those, it's if you're looking at Chelsea and Man City in this conversation and you think, flipping out, they would have never been anywhere near this conversation had they not had, one of them's owned by a state, basically. Same with PSG. And you can just decide, I'm just going to throw money at it. The league's not been fair for the likes of West Ham for years.
No, it's not. No.
So when you look at it from that front, and, I'm talking as an Arsenal fan who has got ownership, so it's not like I'm saying it from a place of, because a lot of the noise, of course, has come from clubs, fans of clubs that are not necessarily as privileged in the European cases year in, year out. And so it's easy to come with that approach, and I'm totally with that. But even from somebody who stands in that place, I'm thinking, well, this is bizarre. But it's been bizarre for such a long time.
Yeah, no, it is. I know what you mean, buddy. I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean. Listen, man. Look, I appreciate you coming on, mate.
No, thank you for having me, man.
Pleasure, buddy. Pleasure, buddy.
Yeah.
All right then, buddy. Cheers, matey.
Nice one.
Go on then, right. Let's get Jim on quickly because I've got 5 minutes. Hello, mate.
How you doing, mate?
Right. So the main question is. Who is H in Line of Duty? I still can't figure it out. Who did he shoot? Who did she shoot? Did she shoot Ryan? Did Ryan shoot Judy? Anyway, Super League.
Our Arsenal missus,
Ask Alexa. Alexa tells you. Yeah.
I don't know what to say on this, Russ. I spoke to a few people yesterday on what I'm doing, and I had people from Bristol City coming on and people from lower league clubs, and not being funny, that they were turning around and saying it's going to cripple. It ain't just going to cripple the Premier League. It's going to go down the circle, down.
Yeah, it will
down the leagues, and it's going to affect a lot of people because what it is, they're on a tight budget as it is, and I think the Premier League have been funding them, especially with the pandemic and everything, and helping a lot of the lower league clubs out. Like I'm Dagenham Redbridge is up the road from me, and they was crying out for the government to open because they just can't do it, and they're under American owners. So I just think that I was hearing what the lad was saying there, and he said about like F1 and NFL and NFL, NBA and Formula One. Football is the biggest sport on the planet.
Yeah,
it's the biggest. It's the biggest catch on the planet, and it gets you. It will always be the biggest sport on the planet because it's the bestest sport. Bestest game in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what they've done, they took the core out of all the leagues and stuck it in one league. And what I've been hearing is 350 million per team. That's what they're getting each, and it's going to be funded under a 3.4 billion, funded by JP Morgan, who's an American investment. Yeah. And it's just terrible, mate. It's a disgrace the way they've conducted it right now. And do you know what people say? Oh, we shouldn't worry, West Ham fans. We shouldn't worry. We should, because the financial state goes down the pan, and basically, and let's be honest, we ain't going to be able to go and afford to get these players that we want because there won't be enough money in the game.
No,
what do you think?
No, there won't be. But I think for me, it's one of those things where it's a seismic change. And I agree with what Pete said. When the Premier League sort of started, that was sort of it's like the gulf became so big, and so and obviously we weren't involved in that process. What is it about us? No one likes us. We don't care. But it's. I know what you mean, and I think the trouble is, and Pete made a good point. Look at who owns these clubs. A lot of them are owned by American owners who do go for the franchise approach, and that's what they're doing. They're basically creating their new sport. It's like God, in the 70s with Packer and the cricket. God, that died a death, and
what it
he
is,
couldn't
though,
play
Russ,
for England.
These teams can't compete in the Premier League if they go in there.
No,
it can't happen. Because what it is, they're getting a £350 million boost each year.
Yeah.
So I can't believe Tottenham are in it. Like, that's laughable in itself, right?
Yeah.
And there's teams like Aston Villa who've won more European competitions and titles than them. So I can't believe that one. But they're getting 350 million. It's immoral on so many levels. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just ripping the art out of the game. And
it's true. I just find the whole thing fascinating. I really do. I think, you don't know how it's going to play. It's like, is it, I mean, Pete, mate, yeah, it's a replacement. In essence, it's a replacement for the Champions League, which it is. But it's the impact, and it's like for them guys to come out, UEFA, the Premier League, the Football League, the Serie A, La Liga, they've all come out and said basically you're out, mate. If you join them, you are out. And the players as well. I mean, there's going to be mercenary players who see football as their job rather than as a passion, and obviously that's less and less of a case, it seems, because obviously with so much money in the game and stuff. But I look at someone like Declan Rice, for example, and to me, Declan Rice, if you said to him, right, you can play here, and someone made a good point in the chat, you can play here and you can win. You could win the Super League, or you could play for West Ham and you could win the FA Cup. You could win, Champions League. You could win the Premier League. You could play for your country, and you'll be on the same, maybe slightly less money than you're on now, because I think football would have to, non-Super League football would have to cut its cloth accordingly, because those big six will take a chunk of, the broadcast money out of the clubs, because, it would do. So I just think I think it's fascinating, man. I think it's fascinating. I just love the timing. Love the timing. So now we don't talk about the 3-2 defeat to Newcastle now.
What do you where do you see it going though, Russ, in your opinion?
I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think so. I think what's going to happen is they're going to get. What I would like to happen is they all get points deductions. They get a slap on the wrist and a fine, and get back in your box. That's what needs to happen. I don't think expelling them is the right answer, because actually that would really affect us as a club in a league, and it will affect Dagenham Redbridge.
Yeah, make a mockery of the league, wouldn't it?
It would make a mockery. If they chucked them all out, and we win the league because we're 9 points ahead. If we took all the goal, that type of thing, it's great, it's brilliant. But that means fuck all, really. It's going to have an asterisk next to it, and I don't think they would do that. I think they'd actually probably just stop the league, in all honesty. But and it's happened with Rangers. Rangers got knocked out, and Rangers had to go to like the third tier, didn't they, of Scottish football, and work their way back up again. That wouldn't happen here. I think it'll be a points deduction, rap on the wrists, and then there'd be a new Champions League format would be proposed, which would be a combination of the Super League and the Champions League format together. That's the way I see it. I still see it as massive power play. So much, and I mean, who's going to sponsor it? I'm not being funny. I know JP Morgan are backing it. But who's going to sponsor it? There's so much.
I'll tell you what, who would sponsor it, and I think they would, Russ, is Amazon.
Yeah, maybe. But there's so much, and I mean, anyone who's I mean, I work for a PR company, and anyone from a PR perspective, it's a disaster already. Disaster. Any brand that associates with it are going to be tarnished. They're going to be tarnished anytime, even now, right? If we do play Chelsea on Saturday, everything, whatever. If there was fans, every time you go Chelsea, Liverpool, you would get booed out the stadium. Booed out the stadium. Yeah, it's
in one way though, Russ. They've signed it over though, haven't they? So they've signed to go to it. So in a way that they've sort of said that they've had enough of the Premier League. Basically, I know people say, it doesn't necessarily. It's going to be midweek games, but the problem is with it is 350 million for entering that competition.
Yeah.
And West Ham only get, if we finish fourth, we get something like 80 million. And these teams who are entering, like Tottenham, Arsenal, etc., get 350 just for being in.
Yeah, and it wouldn't work. It is the same in Formula One now, where they are sort of dropping so everyone has the same budget really, and it's based on and that's how it should be. But anyway, James, I'm gonna have to go, mate, because I want the Irons United guys to come on. But anyway, cheers, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah. Cheers, buddy. Good old James. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. What a mass debate we've had. I've enjoyed this mass debate for 45 minutes. Anyway, I'm going to hop off because it's got to be pulled end off. Yeah, it will be. Are you talking about not the mass debate? Okay, we're good. As I said, go over and check Irons United. They'll be talking about it even more if you want to talk about it even more. Tonight, to make things, in the crazy world we live in, what do we need more than ever? We need another episode of the Noble Era. There'll be another episode of the Noble Era this evening, so that'll be cheering you up. We've got some really good ex-Hammer Miami 11s as well, which is really cool. But anyway, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Thank you so much for everyone's comments and stuff. Come on, you Irons. Will we win the league? Will we be fourth? Who knows? Take care, everyone. Much love. Bye-bye.